They're a second off.
They're a second off. It's fine. Can sync that up later. Not a problem.
Are you posting this on your YouTube later?
Probably.
Okay.
I've yet to talk about Arnold on my YouTube channel, so.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And I just assume that people know who Rupert is on my YouTube channel, which is not always the case.
Well, everybody knows who Arnold is based on my videos and then your videos, so yay!
Yay!
And now people on my side are gonna know Rupert because I'm gonna talk about him.
Yay! So funny. There are two angles to look at. Yeah, so we're going live on both of our accounts right now, but we're not doing it duetted because there's a delay. So people are joining. Hi!
Also noise.
Also
Echo.
noise. Yep.
Echo's terrible.
It'll be interesting to see who joins which live because they'll see us both live at the same time.
Hello, my friend. I know no long time no see. I cannot see my chat. I'm gonna do this. Hi, Echo. It's nice to see you in your avatar photo.
I love it. It's like one of your friends is live. I wonder who that is.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Surprise. Echo says, hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Samara.
It's
As we both go for our coffees.
Hello. It's me. I am alive, and I don't think I've done a live since I did one with Alex.
Wow.
Yeah. The second one we did.
Was it like 2 months ago?
Maybe. I've been busy.
Hello.
Patty! Patty's in my live.
Oh, Patty.
I win.
My mod, Patty.
I win. I got Patty. We just started.
Yes, we did.
I could read two chats.
Well,
at the
I got
same
Gina.
time.
So
But I got Patty. Hi, Patty. I love you.
Hi, Gina. I love
I'll
you.
switch back and forth.
And I
No,
got
you were
Caitlin.
here. You were
So,
here in my
yeah.
life. You gotta stay there.
How are we doing? Somebody just asked.
Awful.
Not the mod fight. Yeah. Any ghost friends here? We called them. We did. They said they would show up for the time of meeting.
I just gotta be there. Be there.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
They're working.
Shout out from Wilmywood.
Yeah.
Hi.
First live. Welcome. Yeah. I guess let's introduce ourselves to our respective lives.
I would say we're spilling tea, but this is coffee, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could start. Like, okay, do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well,
so I'm seeing love in my
here
chat.
it is. Well, hello there. My name is Catherine. I'm your friendly neighborhood psychic medium and paranormal investigator, and I am here with Rebecca. And if you do not know who Rebecca is, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? Anyway, like,
You're just finding them for. I just let them go away. I'm just like, I don't know who this is.
I am I'm a TikToker, as you can see, because I'm live on TikTok, and I'm Rebecca's good buddy. And I totally just forgot everything I've ever done in my life. This is how you can tell it's been a minute since I've been alive.
Wow.
Because I forgot all my life. Love you both. Love from Michigan. Hi. Hi.
Oh my goodness, we're getting compliments.
Oh, no, stop.
Oh, how's our Wednesday going? Happy Hermes Day, everybody.
Happy Hermes Day. Yeah, Rebecca, you go. I'll fill in the blanks later.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca, and I am known as Rebecca the Ghost Guide on these parts of the internet. And I've been creating content about my ghostly encounters for less than 5 years now, the pandemic times. And through my relaying my skits and encounters, it actually helped me come to terms with being a psychic medium and actually being able to say that out loud, because I used to be very worried about that. So thank you. Yay. Yeah.
Rebecca made me get out of the medium closet a long time ago in a cemetery far away. Everybody used to talk about, oh, Kat, you must be psychic. And I was like, nope, don't talk about that. And then look at me now. I now go out and I communicate with spirits, both with equipment as well as intuitively with all the different things that I've got going on. I've gone from being, hey, these are scary things that happen, to, hey, this is how you can be scarier than the things that are scary in your space. I also, do consultations on how to help you to unblock yourselves, because I had to learn the hard way. the crash course through shadow work. And yeah, I when I found Rebekah, she's changed my whole view of like spirits and spirituality, and I was just like, wow, all right. And now we're hanging out all the time, and it's great.
Yay! Thanks for all the like compliments on my dress. I appreciate that.
The dress is gorgeous.
Thanks.
The
I got it from the internet.
The internet's a great place.
From the same site that most of you know that I shop at, because that's like the only site that I shop at, because they sell extra smalls, and I am 5 feet tall. Apparently tonight's the night I overshare.
Should I wait or make my announcement now about like what you could do today for people who are here at this time?
I mean, you could make it your life too.
Hi. So friends, if you do not follow me on Instagram, you're gonna miss out, because on my Instagram I posted a very special announcement with a very special coupon code to get a very special discount on a consultation with me. This encompasses all my consultations that I do offer, past loved one, mediumship, or if paranormal investigating is your thing, that's something that I also do consultations on. There is a coupon code. It is in the description of the photo that I post on my Instagram. You should go there now. If you care, you can follow me and then use that coupon code to book with me, because I would love to help you as you need.
Yay!
It'll be up for 2 weeks. That's all the time you get. So you better hurry up.
Yep. You're also getting compliments on your look.
Thanks.
It's funny because when I first met you in person, for those of you who have been with me since the George Chronicles, you were with me out at the courthouse, and it was so funny because you were like saying little things that you were picking up on, and I was just like, oh my goodness, that's totally what I'm picking up on. And you were just like, I'm not a medium. I was like, you don't have to call yourself a medium. That's totally fine. You can call yourself whatever you want. 2 years later, you're like, I'm doing consultations.
I talked a lot, and I've talked a lot about shutting down abilities and things, and how I did that because of the one investigation that wrecked me as a person. But they never went away. Mm-hmm. I just chose to ignore it, I guess is a way to put it. I would hear things and see things and feel things and be like, no. So I could pick up on things. I just wasn't confident anymore. I used to be like, back in the day, like when I was doing it full time, I was very like, I am great. I'm very good at what I can do. And then I was like, oh no, I don't feel so like confident. And now, look at me now.
Yeah. I see, on a kind of different thing, I shut off my more like obvious abilities like clairvoyance, and I'm still growing my clairaudience, but clairvoyance of like being able to physically see, I shut that off at a very young age. And so I didn't know how I was perceiving for the longest time. I was still perceiving through inner eye clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience. Those were the main ones. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't realize until much later on in my life that I never fully shut it off. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people who have this kind of interest. And that's why on my Patreon and on my page, and I know you do as well, we talk about how to understand your language of being able to perceive spirits, because it's the same but different from your other physical senses. So yeah, that's what we get into. Oh, thank you so much. Skits helped you find out more about yourself. Thank you. That's why I do that. I tell stories, things that have happened to me, and I do it so people might be able to understand perception on their own and maybe even see themselves in different parts of those skits. So yeah, thanks for following.
That's why I do the conversations with ghosts, to help to show that like having a conversation, even the ghost that's like, get out of my space, leave me alone. Like, okay.
Yeah.
It's a confidence that you have when you walk in there, because you know, you walk in and you're just like, hey, what's up? And they're like, ugh. And you're like, okay. You gotta have the right attitude to go with it. You gotta square your shoulders back. And I saw somebody said something about my hair. Thank you. I've got boy hair now. I love it. It's I feel close. Like they're gonna be here soon.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
See, we wanted to give everybody a kind of recap because we're going to be posting these on our respective YouTubes later.
Hi, Sugar. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's been a time of learning and understanding and taking away expectations of things that you've learned and like reevaluating what that actually is and like how to reapply things that you learn as you go. It's been a wild ride since you and I first hung out.
Yeah. A lot of you, I know I've gotten a lot of comments from people, and I work with a lot of people in consultations, feeling like you're really waking up. Some of you feel like you're waking up to psychic perception for the first time just in the last few years. That is not an accident. Mm-hmm. You are not alone. Mm-hmm. Folks like us just happen to reawaken, I'd say a little bit sooner, and kind of like pedal to the metal just because of where we live, being in very haunted places and having to address a lot of like things that happened in our past and that sort of thing on overcoming fears and that kind of thing. So that's the thing. I always tell everybody, like, anybody can do this. I don't think it should ever be a kind of thing where somebody comes up and they're like, oh, well, if you can do this, you have to do this all the time. No, anybody can do this. Just like anybody can learn a variety of traits. You know, if you want to play a sport, you can learn that sport. If you want to be a lawyer, you can be a lawyer. It's not to say that it's easy to do either of those things, but it can be learned. And so can psychic perception. So that's, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie, for the compliment on my hair. Carly said trauma is a great shove. Trauma can be a trigger, but with that, you always want to be mindful of where you are here and making sure that you're taking care of yourself, because spiritual energy can have a really big effect on mental health. And you want to make sure that you're taking care of both at the same time. So yes, well, it is definitely something that'll kick things into action. It's something that you want to be mindful of and taking care of, because you want to make sure that you're in a good place. It's something, even in consultations, when I talk to people, we talk about mental health rather regularly. And I always make sure to check in to make sure people are okay. Because sometimes I say a lot. Sometimes I'll be calling you out right there, just right in front of my face. Hi, Kaylin. So what about a spoopy story?
Oh, well, we're about to get into some, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna
meeting our folks. We're kind of spoopy. They weren't scary to us, but I could see how they could be scary to other people.
I'm pretty Beetlejuice right now, so
yes. Also, thanks for all of the compliments. Yes, I'm still in Wilmington, and yes to those of you talking about how haunted Wilmington is. Yes, it is a crash course in being able to perceive spirits for sure, and that was part of my awakening. I moved here.
I got one now.
Oh, it went to you.
Usually goes to you. Now went to me.
Thanks for the gifts. Can I do that?
Loving the Beetlejuice vibes.
Yeah.
I guess.
Wait. Yay! I win.
Wilmington's on your bucket list. Go.
Or come.
Go to Wilmington. Venture out. Be present there. It is great.
Yes, a parent can shield their young child. It's a 2-year-old.
Yes.
I actually just did a video. I just filmed it today about, one, you want to be sure you're protecting yourself. You have a shield for yourself. Work on you first, because you can't put the oxygen mask or the mask or whatever on somebody else until you put it on yourself, right? So shield yourself. And then you're welcome to add to this. Like, I just imagine another shield that pops up, moves around, and then just...
Mm-hmm. It's kind of... Think of it in the concept of like, if you were outside and you were like blowing bubbles, how sometimes 2 bubbles will stick together. It's kind of like that. You're protecting yourself, but you also just onto somebody else. I know, because I do this, because I got the little one that I like to take care of and make sure it's safe. Sometimes you can learn the skill of extending it to somebody different, but that's an energy level that takes a lot to maintain for a long period of time. But just kind of like making little bubbles for everybody and just kind of grouping together. Double bubbles. It's double bubbles.
Also, Andrew's on. Hi,
Hi, Andrew.
We met in person at a local or a Patreon meetup that I do. And P.S., if any of you want to go to New Orleans, the deadline's coming up really, really soon. That will be in September. So if you want to do that, that is Patreon exclusive, but it is open to all Patreons starting at the $5 a month tier. You don't have to stay on forever, but I did want to have some exclusivity there on this particular trip. So if you want to join, it's going to be really exciting, and we're both going to be there, and some really cool people that we've already met at other meetups are going to be there. I have some videos on my YouTube about previous meetups. It's always super activated. A lot of people make fantastic friends there. Some of the people that I've been talking to on the chat and saying hi to, I have met in person during these meetups. It's always a really fantastic time. So if you're getting a ping to look into that, definitely look into that. My Patreon is on my bio, and if you're watching this on YouTube later, it will be in the description below. Yay. Oh, thanks. I get 1 million stars from my Patreon out of 5.
Hey girl, hey.
Everybody do it. Yes.
Everybody should go and go and join Rebekah's Patreon.
You also have a Patreon.
I do have a Patreon as well.
Doing the thing.
I'm doing, I share exclusive content. Like right now, you can watch my newest YouTube video before it drops on Friday, which is the final hour when I went to Pennhurst to investigate. That's up there now. I've been sharing content. I'm sharing pictures before I post them, stories behind the scenes, where I'm going, what I'm doing. Different tiers get different things. You can get discounts for consultations. You can earn free consultations on my Patreon. We're having a great time. We're actually going to be setting up our very first Patreon exclusive live stream to just hang out and chat. And I'm very excited about that. So if you want to support and hang out and see all the fun things that I'm doing any given day of the week, please feel free to go check it out. If you go to the place with the thing, stuff, and you click on it, it's right there. You can just click on it and go.
P.S. to somebody, I guess I was on an episode of Evil Kin back in the day that they keep replaying. I've been on national TV for different roles 3 times now. Before pandemic, I was a professional performer, producer, and playwright, and I lived in DC for a little while. So I did the film thing for a while, which was fun. She said actor, yes. So yeah, I get that every now and then. Somebody's like, were you on that show? Yes, I was. And that was a very disturbing story to tell. Hello. What was the other thing that I read? It was something.
Thank you, Carly. That was such a wild experience. All the tech issues we had in Pennhurst, all of the things that happened towards the end of the night where everybody kept touching me and the S-Box was getting real pointed. I would definitely go again. Definitely would go under a different vibe and approach it in a different way. I would say that for sure.
New Orleans thing is going to be starts on September 15th, that weekend. So yeah, if you're around and you want to join us for the events, you are welcome to do so. You still have to do it through the Patreon exclusive thing, but that is what that is. Oh.
I just saw Ghostman. I heard, yeah. We're here. I was like, sorry. Were you rushing back over? The bathroom. Something with bathrooms and ghosts. I don't know why. I'm starting to notice this as a trend now. Ghosts tend to be bathrooms. I don't understand.
I have known 2 bathroom ghosts, and that was from the same house.
I had a bathroom ghost growing up.
Yeah.
He was a weirdo and would punch the shower curtain. So you'd be minding your business, and then suddenly the shower curtain would be and you'd be like, oh my God, why? And didn't leave messages on the mirrors though I asked him to plenty of times.
Someone asked, can tapping into your abilities be draining? So long as you're pulling energy up from the earth or wherever you pull energy from, it is not. However, the caveat to that is it is like working a muscle. If you are unused to it, you can become tired, but you work it over time and it does not become so tiring anymore.
Call back your energy. Whatever you put out, call back. Also, something about shielding that I wanted to mention, because I mentioned this to clients that I talk to. You can shield against living people too.
I do it all the time.
Echo asked me what the scariest thing happened at Pennhurst was. Honestly, it wasn't that it was scary in the essence of just oh my God. There were some moments that caught me off guard, like all of us seeing the same shadow. When I'm blindfolded, I felt it behind me and described it. And they were like, oh, because there was a shadow behind you. And I was like, yeah. There were a few moments that were stressful because I was, you guys know me on my side. I'm the one that maintains everybody in the space to try to keep everybody safe. So I was more concerned to make sure everybody else was okay. That was kind of a little, but other than that, it was dark and dusty. The scariest part was the cough I got the next day.
Some folks are asking about if you and I can make calls to people's past loved ones. And not right now. I personally don't do that on lives, especially because every past loved one reading that I have ever done is very, very personal. So 2 things to know with that. 1, if you want to talk to a past loved one, just do it. Just do it. You may have issues receiving the information because you may be doubting the information that you're receiving. However, if you have things that are left unsaid, you can write them, you can speak them. If it helps you to pull out a photo, absolutely do that. If it helps you to hold something in your hand that used to be theirs, do that. It so happens Catherine is the past loved ones reader on my team, just because I am booked out so far in advance. I wanted to give opportunities to other talented readers such as yourself, and that is truly a great talent that you have.
It was always my strongest thing that I could do or tap into specifically. I can speak to spirits, I can perceive spirits on different levels, but past loved ones was really the talent that I cultivated when I was younger. And I use every skill I've got to give you a full understanding of who we're talking to, mannerisms, the way I'm going to move. I'm going to try to replicate that, the way that they talk. I can do voices sometimes, so I try to do that. I can draw. I'm kind of learning to draw now, so I can start doodling people, so you can get a visual. Like I'm putting out everything I've got for my past level one readings.
Yeah, and they're great. I've been around as you've channeled past loved ones before. And P.S. as far somebody asked, I think it was JJ, can you write the letter or can you type it? It's not so much how you get it out, it's that you get your words out somewhere, and sometimes writing can help you focus. Sometimes speaking can help you focus.
If you want to see my booking stuff, go to the place on my bio. It'll have a little top, it'll say book a consultation with me. But you want to get some cool, you can go to my Instagram because there's a little discount code there, so you can get 15% off any consultation you book with me, which also has a link to find to go to book. So if my mods are in the chat, they can tell you where to go if you can't get through there. And I would love to help you talk to who you want to talk to.
And also teach how you can
do it yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's all of my readers team, anybody that I would recommend, they not only help to channel, they teach how to channel, because once again, this is something everybody can do. It's just figuring out your language. Also, you're getting all kinds of love in my chat. And for anybody asking, I do not send personal messages about readings. I never do that. If you look at any of my bios on any of my social media platforms, it says that those are scammers. Please block and report them. They are not me.
Thank you, Crazy Blonde Nerd. I really appreciate it. Yes, I if you see anybody that's got either of our names with any extra pieces, misspellings, really look at the follower counts, look at how soon the video was posted, look at the viewership of those videos. And they're just wilding out there. I don't get them as much. Gosh knows I don't get them as much.
Yeah,
but
I showed you how many I have. I have over 50 at this point.
Yeah.
And I blocked and reported all of them.
They started with me before I even started doing consultations. So they were really
everywhere.
I know.
I'm the woman in white tonight.
I'm usually the one, my people know, I'm the one who's like, look at my flouncy sleeves. And I'm not wearing flouncy sleeves today. Oh, thank you, Courtney. I really appreciate it. I try.
The guys.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Okay.
They're good.
I guess I'm in live mode, so I'm not.
Yeah, no, we're in live mode. We're catching up because that was part of what we were doing.
Okay.
They're not rushed. They're here.
Oh, yeah.
They're good.
Once again, I think this is a good teaching opportunity for a moment. I'm not tapped in all the time, especially when I'm in entertainment mode. I'm trying to put as much percentage to what I'm doing at the time. So
I got you.
Well, I know you understand that because you're like a person. You get it. I don't know anybody who's tapped in all the time. You want to be sure that you're in this existence, this present, that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness, Judy. My son is 2. If you haven't seen me since he was born, he's 2 now.
Welcome back.
He's 2 and I have no hair left. It's things have progressed. Yes, Judy. Yes, way. Time is real, and he has become a victim of it. He's very tall. Yes, Bean, the magic Bean, the miracle baby. We love Bean. We stand Bean. You'll just never see him again because he looks like a person. He can't consent. So when he's older, if he wants to be on I'll be on my stuff sometime. Sure, that's fine. But until he knows and understands what that means, he's going to stay where he is.
Okay, well, do we get into this?
Yeah, we should get into this. How are we starting this?
Well, I wanted to say, because if anybody is like, wait, you could have told the story without them being here. Well, I don't like to do that just because if at any point I misspoke or misspeak or something like that, I do want to be corrected in real time, because it's not just my story that I'm talking about, it's our stories. So collectively, it's a thing. Yeah. Goodness, where to start? So I guess chronologically we start with Rupert.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Are you putting you on the spot now?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, Rupert, I met him, it was 2020, and I was doing ghost tours, and one of my favorite spots was the Bergwin Wright House, which is a place that they have opened as a museum here in town in Wilmington, North Carolina. And it's one of my favorites. I love the people who work there. And go figure, a lot of the tour guides would joke that the activity around the house would act up and people would start getting a lot of photos and stuff whenever I was coming nearby. Well, I just thought I was friendly. It turns out that being very psychically sensitive and being who I am, I was just giving everybody a big boost whenever I got there because I was so excited, and I would say hi to everybody even if I didn't understand I was hearing hi back. But anyway, I would tell the story in this little corner that was next to the house, and if you look at my ghost skits, you will see I actually took a photo of that corner. And that was the corner where Rupert stood for a few hundred years. And I didn't realize it at the time. I was kind of waking him up by doing that. And, you know, this experience does make me believe in fate, because there are just so many things that you just can't write off as coincidence. Me standing there, him waking up, him showing interest. At the time that I first met him, he was kind of sentient. I think he would have been a residual spirit for a few hundred years at that point. Just a man in a red coat from the Revolution, just standing there without really having much to say or even being able to be talked to. So one night I'm walking home, and there had been an uptick in crime. It was hot. It was a pandemic. A lot of people were doing some questionable things, and I had started to get kind of more scared, but I wasn't really admitting it to myself. I was walking home one day, and I heard through inner ear clairaudience someone call out to me. And when I turned around, because I primarily see through inner eye clairvoyance, when I turned around, my eyes understood exactly where he stood, what he looked like, that he looked kind of tired at the time because he was, I guess, spiritually tired. That's the best way I can describe it. And very connected to when he was alive and that kind of thing at that point. So yeah, he started to offer to walk me home. At first I was like, stranger danger, I don't know you, sir. But I let him walk me like a block or so and that kind of thing. And like we would walk, and I'd say we talked, but really I talked. If you've seen the ghost skits, it shows him having more of a conversation. Really, a lot of that is my clairsentience, being able to pick up on his feelings on the matter. And so in my ghost skits, I give words to those feelings. In reality, and you can speak to this, he really doesn't say that much, which is fine. It's actually helped me grow in my clairsentience a lot, as well as trusting in my claircognizance. So yeah, other big things, because let's see, I had talked about him to two people, one of which was Sorsha, and she actually helped me understand that he was actually there, because I didn't know. I mean, I told a few people about him, but I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm making this up. I was really doubting myself. She was the second to see him, which was really validating. And then even though she was kind of seeing him, he was really into this whole, like, does he exist thing? And that's where you helped. You came into town, you used your tech, and we got some, he came through on the...
He did, yes, on the S-Box.
On the S-Box.
Yes.
That video, I believe, is on my YouTube, if not my TikTok. We've also caught him on thermal. People have also seen his outline in lives, as well as on, let's see, lives and different videos and that kind of thing. So that's cool. He typically doesn't like to show himself. It just so happens that it happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. All that to say, fast forward, he did a lot of thinking. I did a lot of thinking. I did a past life regression. He had told me that I was his wife in the life that he was alive in. And I was kind of like, that's a cool story. OMG, I kind of remember things from that, but I don't really know. I got a past life regression, went back to that life. Lo and behold, it did exist. It's a good way. It does exist. And yeah, he has been hanging out ever since. That was the first time I met him was the end of 2020. And he didn't start hanging out with me because I was living in a bus at the time, until the end of 2021. I wanted to be very clear on like boundaries, and that like he was okay, and that he was able to get his own energy rather than like potentially pull it from me and that kind of thing. He was always been very reserved on that, but like still, just because he was working through a lot of mental things, just wanted to be as safe as possible. So we would mainly hang out and take walks, and I would talk to him through my inner ear clairaudience and other things, other psychic skills. And yeah, since then, he has found a lot of purpose. I'm really proud of him because he does a lot of really good things for local spirits and helping them find themselves. For other people's spirit guides, he helps me sometimes in consultations. He's a wonderful guardian, and he works very hard to be able to maintain that sort of connection with me. And it's just been a wild ride. And yeah, that's Rupert. Did I miss anything?
No, you encompassed it perfectly.
He seems pleased I didn't overshare. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Now that was something that's been said, it's going to trigger.
Okay.
Fun fact: Rupert was the first spirit that re-triggered my clairvoyance.
He can be very present when he wants to be.
It was
he typically doesn't want to be, which I respect.
I was sitting there.
He's not for the fame.
No, he's not. I was sitting there, and we were at my old place, mm-hmm. and we were talking, and I just kind of like, my son was there. We were playing with him. We were just hanging out, and then I just
there he was. Funny. I was sitting there. He's standing behind me, and then I see your eyes go behind me, and then look all the way up because he's 6'6". He's very tall, and yeah, you just kind of stared, and we're like, oh. I remember that your eyes got so big. You're like,
oh, and you're very tall.
And didn't you like thank him? You were just like, thank you for making yourself so present.
Yes, that was right about when I first started to like reopen, and I was like, like I used to be clairvoyant. I used to be able to see very clearly. I don't know if that's ever gonna come in. Oh, there's Rupert.
Yeah,
that's what happened. That's my story.
Let's see, I'm seeing a few comments. So Rupert is, and his plan is to stick around as a spiritual guardian guide. And I have every intention of seeing him a long time from now when I'm ready to go. There's much to do before I go. And I'm excited to live life. And yeah, there's that. Also, somebody asked about time. Time does work very different for those in spirit. For some, if they are connected to a person on this plane, it might feel very much on a day-to-day. And I know Rupert's felt that ever since we started talking more. Though when he was kind of, I think what I used in the skit, because I reposted it on my story recently, was fading in and out of time. So it's like when spirits are disconnected from the present and they're not grounded, sometimes it's kind of like they fade out and it's like going to sleep and then they wake up and a lot of things have changed. Sometimes decades can pass. Sometimes even centuries can pass. Right now we're seeing a lot of folks waking up. Some of that is because next time somebody's like, wow, it seems like the veil is thin all the time. Yeah, the veil is disappearing. It's a wild time to be alive, let me tell you. So get used to it. Shield up. Get your grounding and your shielding and your cleansing in order sooner than later. Thank you for the heart. Yeah, I've got courses on that on Patreon if you're really looking to do that. I've also got a Q&A playlist, and both of us talk about it on both of our channels. So, but yeah, I think that kind of covers most of that. I wanted to at least answer some. Yes, you can look at past lives through dreams. I also do different past life readings as well, and you can get regressions for that too. But yes.
Can you explain grounding? Veil disappearing, any idea why?
It's the time.
It's the time. It's
the pendulum swings.
It's the time of the season. It's one of those things. It's something that will happen. And the best thing that we can do is just make sure that we're prepared.
Yep.
And taking time to be mindful and reflective to ourselves. Grounding is really centering yourself. Take a deep breath. Get your feet on the ground. The way that I like walk through it if I'm doing a consultation is like, you close your eyes, take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, feel your hands on your legs, feel your lungs fill with air and expel, feel your heartbeat and pull into yourself to center your mind into what it is you're doing. That's like a guided grounding that I usually do. It's just a way to kind of center yourself and just get yourself where you need to go.
It's essentially being present. And you can do this through mental health practices as well. Mental health and spiritual health are like this. You never want to go too far on one thing without acknowledging the other. Even if you don't fully believe in all the spiritual stuff, at least understand what it is you believe. And so long as that gives you peace, great. I wanted to say real quick on the veil thing. Yeah, if that's okay. This has happened before. Thousands of years ago, people saw all kinds of stuff. I mentioned a pendulum swinging. We are swinging back to a time where we are able to perceive spirits. And that's why a lot of my platform is talking about how everybody has intuition. Therefore, everybody can perceive spiritual energy of things around us because things are waking up. That's not to scare anybody. It's just the way that things are. We're swinging back on a pendulum. That's why a lot of kids right now, they see stuff. They're meant to. Mm-hmm. They are part of the waking up. Mm-hmm. And our best thing is to be able to support them, encourage them, empower them, help them to ground, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Say something.
Vicky was asking if it's seasonal or happening generationally, and then you just explained it. Is that why a lot more people are awakening, more spiritually sensitive? Yeah, I've seen a lot of people asking me at times in lives, what is going on? Mm-hmm. Why is everything suddenly really wild? What is happening? And I'm just like, stuff. Lots of stuff.
It's a long time coming. That's why.
Are Rupert and Arnold bros / buddies? Do they hang out together?
Hey, what a great segue!
Hey, what a great segue!
Who's Arnold?
No. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
sad.
Literally kidding. I'm literally joking. Arnold! Can you ground with your shoes on?
Yes.
Yes, you can. All right, so it's time for me to talk about Arnold.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
We all want to know.
But part of that story really starts with you. Well, it actually starts with Jimothy. Let's be honest about it.
Let's start with Jimothy. Where's the draw come from?
I don't know.
I'm so kidding. You've been in the South too long. It's happening.
It's practice. Anyway, so Jimothy was at Fort Fisher.
Jimothy, who lived with me on a bus for a few years.
The best ghost.
And he's well, by the way. He's doing very well. He and Fanny are in their spirit space in a cabin, and they're doing very well.
Jimothy is the best ghost. I remember when I first met Jimothy, mm-hmm. and He called my son his fan, and I could not perceive him like at all, but I was like, Jimothy's here, and that was about it. So at the fort, Jimothy was popping in and out a lot, and like he'd go and and then he'd come back and be like, "You'll never guess what I was doing."
He's bragging.
And then one of the other ghosts at the fort was just like, "I want to do that. I would like to do that as well."
Jimothy is a fake name. It's not his real name. If you want to know more, look at the skit. It's like a whole thing. But anyway, sorry, I just saw that and I was like, yes.
So like Arnold, you did a skit about this too. That Arnold approached Jimothy and was like, "Hey, listen, like, where are you going? How are you doing this? I want to go." and Jimothy's like, "Oh, like, I can't introduce you to Rebekah, but like,
At the time, that was right before the courthouse, things were complicated. And like, I heard it was also, because Rupert was still coming into his own and that kind of thing. And
you Full House.
It was, because I first heard about Arnold from Sorsha because he went to go visit her to be like, "Hi, I want to go leave," through help of Adam. And yeah, I heard about this. Sorsha told me about it and I was like, "Oh, Arnold sounds really nice. I want to adopt him." And Rupert was like, "No."
From what I was told is that Jimothy made a comment to Arnold saying, "Hey, I'll talk to Rebekah, but I'm not making any promises, blah, blah, blah." And then he didn't really hear anything. So he was like, "All right, I guess I got to figure this out for myself." And then over time, he was trying to practice like how far he could get. And then he like slid out behind Jimothy and then went up at Sorsha's place and was just like, "Oh, hi, can you help me?" And talked to Sorsha about wanting to find somebody to grow with, like in a spiritual sense of like understanding and like coming into his own and having someone to talk to, things like that. And Sorsha was like, "Oh, if I think of somebody, I'll let you know. But like right now, I can't think of anybody." And then only a few weeks later, I came down to visit. And where did we wind up going?
We went to Fort Fisher.
And I was very aware we had a crowd, but we
got that like on the spirit box.
I do have that audio. I've never heard ghosts in my life on an S-Box scream chicken so many times.
We brought them Bojangles.
It's so much chicken. It was like, "It's chicken.
They called out a dog.
There's a dog over there.
Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was very intelligent, responsive.
Yes, it was very good. And I was living. I was having a great time. And I knew there was a crowd and I knew we were getting followed around and they were just like, "Oh my God, like what's going on?" Little did I know that Arnold was in this crowd at the time. And we walked around and then we decided to go to the aquarium. It's just down the way. It's a great aquarium. If you ever go there, you really should go to the aquarium. It's fantastic. And my people know this about me. And if you don't know this about me, you're going to learn. I am a nerd when it comes to aquatic creatures. I know a lot about aquatic creatures, names and where like their migratory patterns and like fun facts about them, things like that. Well, Arnold adventured with us to the aquarium.
A few guys did too, but they didn't last as long. They couldn't keep up. You were too smart.
I'm too smart. Can't handle me. And Arnold just stood there listening to me talk about, "Oh, look, that's this. This is the tarpon. That's one of my favorite fish. Do you know how big they get? They get about XYZ big." And he was just like...
We were having experiments, asking them to go into the shark tank.
We were having experiments with the sharks. We were having a great time. The sharks, especially the bonnethead, because they're more sensitive to electrical, the electromagnetic fields because of the way that their heads are shaped and stuff. But here, I'm doing the thing. Anyway, so then Arnold actually followed us back to dinner that we went to after at Rebekah's, and we had no idea he was there. And we were talking about him, and he was being
sly.
He was being quiet. But it's funny because when I was in the room, I took a second. I get a little overwhelmed in like social situations sometimes when I don't know a lot of people in the room. So I was just kind of like, I'm going to take a minute to take a breath. And while I was in that room, I'd heard someone ask me, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. But I heard it and I was like, okay, well.
And that house was haunted. So,
yes. So I didn't know who it was. I was just like, okay, cool. And then we're all sitting down, we're doing stuff. And then so she's like, we were talking about Arnold, like, yeah, Arnold. And she's like, oh yeah, he's here. And do you remember how we both were like, what? He stowed away.
That's a video on my YouTube as well.
Yes, you can see the moment where we both were like, oh my God.
He came through. He tried so hard.
He did so well with the K2.
That. Yes.
He did so well with the K2. And he was fantastic when we went to the Wilmington Railroad Museum.
Yes.
He was great. So then he came back with me to Pennsylvania, and we worked together on us as like on our growth. I was teaching him how to use equipment, how to manipulate lights, how to use an S-Box, how to use Phasma-Box. He was showing me how to better perceive and see and hear and feel and all kinds of things. We've been working together. Oh my God, it's almost been 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic. He's grown a lot. He's done so much for himself. I couldn't even, if you had told me like a year ago when we first started talking and working together that this is where he would be, I'd been like, wow. Because the growth is incredible. And he's learned so much more about dinosaurs. It's still today, he still makes jokes where he's like, those aren't real. You know, it's great. He's great. He's so kind and thoughtful. And yes, for the one that asked earlier, him and Rupert are buddies. They are friends.
Yes, it's great. P.S. wanted to answer a quick question. Somebody asked, how do you two stay focused during a live with all of your past loved ones talking? We don't hear that. This place is so locked down. It is heavily shielded. We need peace. I only open it up when I am in consultations. I have very strict boundaries on who I talk to and when. I oftentimes tell people I have business hours. That's for the living and the past. That's just what I have to do to stay sane. So for anybody out there who might need boundaries, do that. I can only imagine it would be very overwhelming to hear everybody at once.
Somebody asked if we'd ever heard our guides through Spirit Box. Yes.
That was a wild time. That was at another meetup.
That was so good. Anyway, so yeah, they hang out all the time. They're always out doing stuff together. And they got very, I would say even like the more that we talked and then they started hanging out and like meeting up and like doing things together, they got closer.
Arnold used to call him
Stoic Gentleman.
And also, Arnold, didn't he say that Jimothy's description of Rupert was totally off?
Yes. Jimothy came in hot about Rupert and describing
being
Rupert.
So mean and angry.
Rude. Like, it's just like, oh, he's so big and mean and he's so angry. And then like,
because Jimothy bothered him.
Arnold met him and was like, Jimothy's a liar. And but he also recognized like Rupert as just like there and very present and very just Rupert. So, you know, there's mad respect there too.
He's proper and quiet and don't mess with him.
Yes. And you know, it's great because Arnold is a talker. He can talk a lot. And Rupert is a great listener.
Somebody asked if Rupert's ripped. I couldn't not ignore that. I should have. That's none of your business. That's not your business.
Now I've been on my side. I've been like, how dare you? Asking some personal questions.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Jimothy is a liar. Yes. Thank you for the little crown, Vesta. I appreciate you.
Jimothy is an elaborator.
He said some things. Like,
he has said some things.
There's some things like Arnold told me about, and I was like, what? Like, are you being?
Nope.
Anyway, so we're ignoring.
Hey, mods, do your thing. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I know you are. I'm just thinking of something specifically. Thank you so much. Thanks, mods, for being there. So
mods do the work.
Yep,
mods do the work. So yeah, really, it's been such an interesting journey overall, and understanding more about like spirits and ghosts and like different levels of that as it stands. It's not so like 111. There's range. There's differences. Like it's just so wild to me how much has changed in the last 2 years.
So, yeah. Cool. I don't know if there's anything else to really go into. We kind of caught up on them. I guess they've just both done a lot of things to like grow and be more present with themselves. And what's cool is, I mean, I'll speak for Rupert. He doesn't tell me all the ins and outs of everything that he does, but I know it's been a unique experience for him to be able to work with other folks in the spirit plane and that kind of thing. And he keeps busy, and I'm very proud of him because he does a lot of really good work for our plane and the next. So, and I know, I don't want to speak for Arnold, but yeah.
You're his number one fan.
I'm his number one fan.
Yeah, you're his number one fan.
Yeah, I am his number one fan.
Yes.
I've always got an eye out for when Reese's are around. So.
Yes. Arnold greatly appreciates everybody's encouragement of him and his learning and wanting to know like what he thinks. Because as I've said before, that was not something that he had when he was alive. People didn't really, like, he just was kind of there. And now people ask about him and he's like, I don't even know who these people are, but it makes me feel so happy. I feel like that's important. I want to hit that really quick. What would you say to someone who said they want to find a spiritual buddy like y'all? I would say,
look in the living first.
Yes, look in the living first.
We weren't looking for these guys.
No. It definitely was not like I'm going to go find a spirit friend. No.
It's not easier.
And I'll tell you, there was a lot of parameters. There was a lot of work that went into that. There was a lot of checking and rechecking and validating and making sure we were all on the same page before just like inviting the energy into your space. So, I would say don't do that.
It's like, it's one of those things, if it happens, okay. And some people do have like past life connections with different spirits or guides. Some people run into ghosts that they have past life connections with. That is understandable. If the destiny is meant to happen, the destiny will happen. I never could have imagined this for myself. Everything that's happened. And I still, even though I share a lot of ghost skits and I share a lot of experiences, I love being alive. I love having things to do that have nothing to do with spirits. It's very much a part of my life, but to go out to hang out with people that are corporeal and that kind of thing. I mean, yes, the skin people. That's weird. Anyway, it just so happens that on TikTok I only share about my ghost experiences, but that's a part of my life. It's a very important part, but it's a part.
There's a lot more to our respective lives than ghosts. There's so much. There's so much more than that. It's so much. It's just that's what I'm an expert in.
Yeah. We are here to live.
We are here to live.
Past lives, I'll say, are fascinating, and I love reading past lives. I love reading them for myself. I love reading them for others, but I look at it like I look at a book. At some point, you have to close the book because you have to live here. And that's the point. If we're not living here and in this present, we're not living here and in this present. So I treat it like books. I treat it like creative writing because it's important and we can learn from it and we can have all kinds of really cool validations, though at the core, here is the most important thing because we are here.
Mm-hmm.
So
very, very well said.
I clap for myself. That happened at the cemetery. It was like, I'm clapping for me.
I'm gonna slow clap this right now.
That's one of my favorite videos, just being like, what does Rupert have to say? He says like a small line. What was it? Conflict would be better solved if less were involved. I watched it that many times. Made a few words and I was just
I'm just gonna tell you, you saw what I was wearing in that video. It was hot. And I'm just sitting there like, I just stood in the sun. It was good. It was really good. It was a great day. Could not get away from Gettysburgs.
No. Goodness. P.S. Somebody asked what the next investigation will be. The next one that I'll be releasing on YouTube, and that'll be clipped. The full one will be on Patreon. That will be the Riddle House in West Palm Beach. It's very well known, and I went there for a Patreon meetup. And the one after that, it's looking to be Hell's Kitchen, which I don't think has ever been investigated. That's a local place here.
Ow!
Locals will know.
I saw somebody asking me about Pittsburgh. I do have some place I want to visit in Pittsburgh at some point. That is in my future. I just don't know when.
Your future.
The future. The future is malleable. You make it your own.
Yes.
Choices. Come to the West Coast.
I'm working on it.
Well, one day.
I mean, I'm going for alive people things, and I have been. That I've gone to Portland and Seattle, and I could have filmed while there, and I chose not to because I was just wanting to not. But I did get vibes while I was out there.
West Coast. I mean, there are a lot of places on the western side of the United States that I'm like, man, I really want to visit, and like I really want to see it and experience it. But there's also a lot of places over there that if you're wanting me to go there because you're like, this haunted location, probably not going to participate in it because reasons. There's a couple that come to mind to me, but there's a lot going on over there, generally speaking. So I would love to just visit and hang out and see any place in the UK. Oh my God, the UK, just all of it. Just as much as possible. It's not even because of the hauntedness of the United Kingdom, but that's a really big chunk where my family's from. So it'd be cool to visit where I come from, as well as Germany, because those are the two places that my family is from predominantly.
What?
Oh, yeah, go.
I was just gonna say I visited the Tower of London on my birthday. That was 2020 before the shutdown, and it was also the birthday of my great time's 13th grandfather, which is Sir Thomas More. I went to the place where he was imprisoned and where he was done. He wasn't there anymore, which I'm glad. That would be an awful place to be for at least a prisoner. I wasn't as spiritually aware then, but I felt things. That's on my YouTube. It's more the ghost stories rather than the vibes, because I wasn't trusting myself then. So I wasn't out of the medium closet. So cool.
The medium closet.
The medium closet. This is my medium.
I understand that metaphor.
European trip. Yes. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. There's going to be some announcements coming up in about 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be public. Anyway. Do you want to answer like a few?
Yeah, if you guys have questions, if you have a perspective you're looking for, if you want to know something cool, feel free to ask. Either chat. I'm a quick reader. What?
Do you guys like physical, paranormal, or fictional? We just finished the Haunting at Hill House, the series. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes, but first you also mentioned Supernatural. I want to say something about Supernatural really quick. It is good for what it is. It could have ended a lot earlier. Carry on, my wayward son. That's all I got to say about that. But anyway.
I never really watched
The Haunting of Hill House. Hi, Chris. I love you. I've missed you so much. Let's get a place to visit haunted in South Myrtle Beach. That's more your goals than my goals of Myrtle Beach.
Oh, goodness.
Don't go there. You said to
Let's keep talking about The Haunting.
Okay, so The Haunting at Hill House.
Yes.
I hadn't watched it because I am very particular about my paranormal subject matter, creative fictional shows, because there's usually a really specific trope that they follow with it. And I don't find myself interested because I live in it. So Rebecca's like, you have to watch this. And I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this. And then I watched it. How many times I say, that happened to me. I've had that happen to me.
It was so...
Tripped me out.
Yeah.
Completely tripped me out.
Like, you and I were watching it, and I was just like, did that happen to you? Yeah, that happened to me. Did that happen to you? Yeah, that happened to me. But, like, also the drama of the family.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the differences, you also see... These writers were tapped in. Because, like, whether they knew it or not. how Liv, like, she showed up as a past loved one to Hugh, but she also showed up as a ghost in the house, which is possible. And the past loved one, you'll see, is a lot more put together. She's a lot more calm. But then in the house, you still have this very unstable, uncertain, unwell, spirit. That was a piece of her. I talk about this. I call it the shred theory. Other people might call it something else. But, like, it's the concept of some mediums will even tap into a part of someone that is well on their way. They're more like even like a spirit guide. They're detached from their issues from the living. And then if you go to a haunted place, sometimes you may tap into the shred that they left behind so that they could move forward. And sometimes that even happens with people who are alive, which is like a wild thing, but it totally happens. There's been more evidence of that comes around. So yeah, there was that going on.
Something important that I want to mention about it that I said to you about. So there's this whole, if you haven't seen it, I don't know, it's been out for a while because I kind of
yeah.
Okay, spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, if you haven't seen it and you plan on watching it, just go away for like 2 minutes. Anyway. So there's this whole idea of like the dynamic of you're crazy versus this is what I've seen.
Yes.
And something interesting, little notes that I saw in the show that really just drove my paranormal investigator brain bonkers was when they started they showed the part where the house is filled with mold, right? So they show the house is filled with mold. The center room of like the heart of the house or what they call it, the stomach of the house was filled with mold, right? One of the first things that we look at is with investigations when we talk about the paranormal is we look for mold because mold is toxic. You breathe it in. It can actually cause you to have like issues with breathing. You can hallucinate. CO2 does that too, like carbon monoxide, and there's some other gases that can leak in, but like the mold thing, I remember when they pulled the walls down, I was like, oh, you know what this is? Because it helps bolster the argument for one half to say, oh no, you were hallucinating, you're crazy. And then you see the mold and you're like, oh my God, it kind of leads you into a red herring of, oh, they're hallucinating it because there's mold. No, the ghosts were really there. They were really there. I thought that was a really neat thing, generally speaking, because it added that element of doubt. I love the element of doubt that they put in there. It's great.
I'll say too, on like family drama, the biggest issue that turns into mental health related stuff down the line is when families are experiencing the same thing and they don't talk about it. I know you've seen that firsthand. I've seen that firsthand. We see it in consultations. That is like the worst thing. And that's why when I talk with parents, for example, and they're like, how do I support my kid? I'm not seeing what they see. Just listen. Empower them. Be like, hey, what would your superhero self do? What's your favorite superhero do? Would they like shoot lasers at that thing? Listen and empower them, because even if it's entirely fake, at least you took the time to empower them instead of saying, oh, that's your imagination, sweetie, stop.
Absolutely.
Families need to talk. Listen, thank you, Gina.
Families need to talk. Seeing it out in the field and working with people, there's this shame that comes over people. When you have to call somebody to come in to be like, I can't believe that I'm actually entertaining this, but are there ghosts in my house? It's almost a shameful thing. We had so many requests from people who were like, we do not want you to have anything that says ghosts on your vehicles. Do not show people around my neighborhood, my neighbors, or anything. I don't want people to think I'm crazy. So when I would come in, because I was the medium of the group, I was like, listen, you're not crazy for wanting to check. We're going to look at everything. We're not just looking for, oh no, there are ghosts immediately. I'm trying to discern what can be explained versus what can't be explained. And we are going to give you that validation through this process. So you know what you're experiencing. If I'm experiencing it too, you're going to feel better about it in the end. That was always my goal, was to talk to people after. You weren't allowed to talk to me. Like, we did not talk or interact. It was just, hi, this is what I'm here to do. Stay away from me. That's kind of how it went. But at the end, like, we would talk, and I would do my best to just be like, listen, like, I know why you feel this way, and I will tell you what it is you're feeling before you tell me. This is where that's coming from. And I really loved the relief that I would see on people's faces when they were like, oh my God, it's not in my head. I'm like, nope. Nope, it's not in your head.
Yep. I've seen a lot of people there so concerned about being crazy, and that's understandable. I do certainly understand that firsthand. But generally speaking, it's the people asking if they're crazy or not that are actually having an experience just because they want to be sure that they're checking themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just want the validation of whatever they're experiencing. I mean, if you've been on my channel before, I talk about mental health practices all the time. I go to therapy every 2 weeks. Like, that is to give myself confidence and myself, my own self-validation, my own belief in myself first, because that is, the neighbor's out. That is at the core of whatever you do, whether it's spiritual or other. I was actually going to say we should probably pop off soon because It's been an hour. So, but yeah, any final words?
I want to give a piece of advice that I give during consultations.
Yay!
If you're in this chat, if you are starting to grow your abilities, you have abilities, you're practicing, you're trying to do your best to get into the right headspace, I just want to impart one piece of advice that I always offer to other people. Be confident in what you can do. Just be mindful of where it comes from.
Yep. I would just say keep asking. If you don't know who it is, keep asking until you find out.
Mm-hmm.
That's keep asking or keep theorizing. I am a theorizer. My guides know this. My friends know this. It's not because everybody's giving me answers. It's because I channel something and I present what I think it could be. And I say, how off am I? Is this off? And I get corrected if I need to be corrected. And sometimes I do. And that's good. At least I'm presenting something. What is it? God's help those who help themselves.
I know that I am not an infallible person, so I question everything. If I feel information's coming through and I'm confused or what, I will check myself, because that is what you should be doing all the time.
I say channel and then check yourself. If you're constantly going back and forth and being like, oh man, is this real? Is it real? Just get it all out.
Be confident in the ability that you can do it, but be mindful of where it comes from.
Have grace.
Have grace.
Give yourself grace.
Yes, give yourself grace.
Cool. But yeah, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us live. If you're joining late, this will be up on my YouTube later. And as always, if you want to check out my courses on Patreon, check out my workshops on Patreon, or check out my YouTube where I have longer content and you're on a lot of that content.
That's me. Please, if you are feeling it, please feel free to check out my place with the links. Check out my Patreon where you're going to see all the exclusives. You can earn all kinds of rewards and discounts for consultations. And if you would like to book a consultation with me, whether it's past level 1 mediumship left or paranormal investigating, if you go to my Instagram, you will see there is an ad with a discount code to book with me today. You've got 2 weeks, so you better get on it right away. Very looking forward. Book with me. I'm great.
Yes. I don't just take anybody on my team. Just saying.
I worked hard for that,
Yes.
Everything is officially Catherine. Everything you want to find, officially _ Catherine. There you go. That's why you'll be able to find me.
Cool.
Do it now. Do it now. Thanks. Type in the chat. I appreciate it. I want to thank you guys on my side so much. I've missed you a lot. It's been a little bit crazy. It's been a little bit crazy, but I'm hopefully going to be planning more lives soon because I miss talking to you. And I've got so many friends that want to share all kinds of interesting anecdotes and knowledge. We need to start planning some stuff out. So I will be seeing you guys again soon. It was nice to see you guys over here on Rebekah's side. It's not like you don't see me all the time now. I am like my own ghost. I'm just attached, following you around all the time. Hi.
I'm gonna go. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
If I can end it.